Greetings, Scott here, known as Cantaloupe to some online, and I'm bringing a video to you today about a subject that's interesting to me. It might be interesting to you or someone you know, and that subject is gun control and my perspective on the subject. I'm pretty sure you already have an opinion. Most people do. I'm not trying to, cause waves or rock the boat, so to speak. I just want to weigh in with my observation about some things that might not be commonly seen or understood, hopefully with the opportunity and the goal of making things smoother and safer for people. So health and happiness kind of tends to be my overarching goal. But anyway, here in the U.S., I'm in the U.S., we have a famous old document called the U.S. Constitution, which has been amended. If you know about that in school, you learned that uh, many amendments, off the top of my head, I don't remember exactly how many, but the second one, early on, a big one, was the right to bear arms. And in a manner of speaking, it's paraphrased, of course. Every U.S. citizen is born with the inalienable right, per the U.S. Constitution, to bear arms. Now, what does that mean? Okay, well, there's debate and stuff, and this isn't going to be an analysis of the document or the spirit of it even, but an explanation of gun violence, like I said, and what causes it, and how it connects with the issue of freedom of owning and using common weapons and firearms. So it's a big subject. I'm going to try to keep this under 5 minutes. So let's see. I'm going to begin with the concept, a little bit of background, that there's generally two ways to look at society or community development. You have a spirit and a design that is, you may describe it as natural or free forming, free developing, naturally, unencumbered, uninhibited, where people primarily are allowed to be themselves, be free, and do what they like, which was, I think it's fair to say, that was the spirit of most U.S. documents. The founding fathers mentioned freedom many, many times, and it was a huge priority for them to protect it, to preserve it, and enforce it by way of establishing rights and so on, systems of justice, and a lot of provisions for freedom. So anyway, freedom is poorly understood nowadays, and the U.S. culture, the U.S. systems and government have largely opted for a different path at this point. And it's fair to say, this is not an opinion. This is measurable, and it's factual, because we have in our society right now what is paramount to agitation. Pause. I'm going to say that one more time. We have an influence, an agitating influence by our administrators, by our governors, our elected officials, the entire government itself. And I'm not trying to really dig into that, but it's for the purpose of generating revenue, taxation. I'm not talking too much about that either, but it's relevant to the subject. Now, when you have an administration or a government that wants to agitate, that is to force people to work harder than they normally might choose to, so that they can pay more taxes, because the busier you are, the more taxes you pay, of course. You have a little problem just with implementation. You have a challenge right off the bat, where when you're forcing people to do stuff, they're gonna spread out, they're gonna run away, they're gonna object or protest. So how do you handle that? How do you regulate the protests? Well, we have a legal system and a criminal justice system that says, in no uncertain terms, we can willy-nilly reel you in if you violate anything, any of these confinements. That's what they are. They're basically walls or boundaries where you're not allowed to. You find out the hard way or the easy way. You're not allowed to trespass, literally or figuratively, in any way, shape, or form that is considered illegal. So we can agitate you. Okay, now here's the point that people don't understand. It's so that we can agitate you. We want to agitate you into business and to being as productive as you can possibly physically be within some healthy reason or limit. But we're going to keep you from protesting and running away and fighting back or getting upset about it by establishing a very rigid framework of rules and regulations that keep you busy and working that hard. So all that aside, okay, that's not even the subject here. The subject is what happens as a byproduct of causing such agitation in society. You create animosity, you create competition, you create adversaries between neighbors, you create tension, massive amounts of tension and turbulence in the communities, between communities, and between every individual is now at odds with every other individual, which is, incidentally wildly different than the founding fathers intended based on what I've read. So we've got a situation here. We've got a situation where people are being forced to work at gunpoint. And I keep mentioning this, and it's been the way, so most people don't even question it. Our grandparents were this way. You have to earn a living. It's known. It's common knowledge. Everybody knows you got to earn a living. You got to go to school. You got to get a career. If you're able-bodied, or you're a parasite living off the system, right? Well, what if you're not? I mean, what if the economic system that we all just accept, that very few of us even question because it's too much trouble and it's very complicated, what if it's fundamentally manipulative or a little bit corrupt? What if it's designed to steal something from you? Well, where would the evidence of that show up? If that's a sin or a crime, where would that become evident? Would there be perhaps a problem with gun crime? Would there be perhaps, other economic problems? And well, okay, obviously you see where I'm going with this. And the question isn't so much should you have the freedom to have a gun. It's why are people trying to shoot each other? Okay, that's the question. Let's talk about that. Can we talk about it? No? Okay, I'm going to talk about it anyway. I'm going to wrap up this video with one last observation, and that is you don't need a document to be free. You're already free. Okay, and the great illusion here, the great bamboozling is getting your buy-in that you need that document, whatever document, the Constitution. It's meant to emphasize something that you already have. Inalienable means it can't be taken away. That means the document is secondary. It's redundant. It's there just to remind us of the freedoms that you already have. You don't need someone's green light to buy a gun. But if you commit a crime, that is, if you hurt somebody, there's a lot of ways to do that. And that's not just shooting them. That's disturbing the peace. It's, creating a nuisance. I mean, it doesn't need to be explained. You already know. If you're causing a problem and you're hurting people and you're trespassing, you're causing injuries or to people's bodies or their property or their mental health, that's criminal. Then it gets followed up. Anyway, big subject. Gun control isn't about limiting guns. It's about setting people up for success so you don't need the rule to begin with. It's about setting people up for success so they don't want to shoot each other. Ask that question. Ask why people are shooting each other. Have a good day.